Hello humans! So, I thought I'd do a bit of a Goodreads ratings discussion for you. Now, this actually stems from a comment on a video, a few videos ago. And that particular viewer had noticed that I'd given a book called Tooth Goblins, which most of you won't have heard of. Well, I'd given it 5 stars. So, this viewer, Hallie, well, she noticed that I'd given the first Harry Potter book only 4 stars. How can this be? Well, let me explain. I said at the time that may be worthy of its own video explaining it. So here it is, given in the context of a wider discussion on Goodreads ratings. You're welcome. And I guess I'll try to use these 2 books. 1, 2. Try to use these as a bit of a case study to explain some of the thinking ideas from the head. So let's get down to it. I gave this book 4 stars, and some of you may think that's heresy. For some detail, here we go. These books, both fantasy adventures, very similar in many ways. Similar word counts, similar target audience, similar age characters. Both have at least part of the story set in the regular human world with elements of magic. So there's a lot to compare them on. And this is a good book. 4 stars is a good rating. But why didn't it get 5 stars from me? There are 2 reasons. Reason 1 is it has a somewhat redundant plot. The book is presented as being a case of Harry Potter gets involved in a bit of a mystery and ends up saving the day. Yay! But when you think about it, actually, it was more of a case of Dumbledore had everything under control and Harry Potter nearly ruined everything, but didn't in the end. It all came out okay. Sorry for the spoiler there if you, well, let's be honest. If you haven't read Harry Potter, what are you doing here? Anyway, let's carry on. So, the fact that it has a plot whereby the outcome would have been better had none of the events in it actually happened was kind of disappointing. Feel a bit let down by the book. Still an enjoyable adventure to go through. And you still got the really strong elements of this book, which are great characters, great world building, and well, just a lot of fun. The whole experience of going to Hogwarts and everything is there, regardless of the main plot. But the second thing that kind of let it down was the ambiguity of the ending. We don't really know what happened. It built up to a climactic battle between Harry Potter and Voldemort, but we don't actually know from the book how it ended. Harry kind of blacked out. Did Harry defeat Voldemort? Did Dumbledore arrive and defeat Voldemort? Did Voldemort decide it was tea time and go home? We just don't know. And that felt rather anticlimactic to me. I like to know what my ending is. I don't really want to infer it. So for those 2 reasons, I did feel this was a 4-star book. Now, I'm not saying Harry Potter's not a 5-star series, but this other book, while not as well known, it has a lot of the same positives as Harry Potter. It's got some good world building, interesting characters, including goblins, let's be clear. Heroic goblins at that. But it doesn't suffer those two weaknesses. It has a well-defined plot, with some heroism, and it has enough of an ending for a book one. I know what happened. I know what happened to the two main bad guys, and yet it left a couple of things loose for those sequel books. So as a book, comparing it, two books similar in many ways, same genre, same target audience, I kind of felt Tooth Goblins was the better structured book. Now, to move on to a wider Goodreads discussion, I guess that you have to rate books in categories. That is to say, you can't compare all books to each other. If we take a look at some of my Goodreads ratings, I gave The Gruffalo 5 stars. Now, could I say that me, as a reader, enjoyed reading The Gruffalo as much as I enjoyed reading Nevernight? No, I didn't. But each book, for its target audience, is a 5-star book. If you've ever read The Gruffalo to a 3-year-old human child, you will appreciate its genius. In its genre, for its target audience, it is a masterpiece. And you could say much the same about Nevernight. So both are worthy of their 5 stars. But, did I enjoy them to similar levels? No. I enjoyed Nevernight far more. But I still appreciate the quality of Gruffalo. And that can be discussed across every genre. We're not just comparing picture books and rhyming books with fantasy epics. We can compare a middle grade fantasy with an adult fantasy. Is it fair to judge them against each other directly? Probably not. Or if I was going to judge them purely on enjoyment of the story, this would probably still get 5 stars. This might get 2 or 3 stars. Because I enjoy longer books. But if I was an 11-year-old human, or maybe a 40-year-old goblin, I'd probably enjoy this one more. It's about target audience, and judging them by that standard. But even within books for a similar target audience, i.e. books for adults, personally, I enjoy fantasy and sci-fi the most. But if I occasionally read a non-fiction book and find myself thinking, that was a really high quality book, I would happily give that 5 stars, despite not enjoying it nearly as much as other fantasies that I might have given 4 stars. I suppose I'm rambling a bit. I guess the point I'm making is, they're your Goodreads ratings. Do what you want with them, and don't judge others. Particularly goblins. Bye!